Next we have the best man. If you haven't seen him already, he's walking around handsome up on the altar earlier this afternoon. We've got Benjamin Gedan coming up. Benny?
Yeah, indeed.
So I've been told.
Thank you.
You have to hold it close to your mouth, otherwise no one will hear you.
Fair enough, thank you. So I'm here to speak as one of Jeff's oldest friends, and I think that gives me a unique ability to offer very thoughtful, deep insights into his life, or to just give a string of embarrassing stories about him. And now I was given a list, I won't say from who, Maddie, of 214 topics that I couldn't mention. But the fact is, Jeff, despite the fancy degrees from Johns Hopkins and Columbia and the wedding announcement of the Times, is ultimately a very silly, very lovable, strange fellow. So there's plenty of topics left that were left off the list. So in the early years, when I knew Jeff when he was younger, you didn't see him all that often. He was mostly sequestered on Maple Hill in his room, organizing his personal archives, which at the time were mostly Taco Bell receipts, fastidiously chronicling his life in his closet. And even though Dr. Novich keeps the house just warm enough so the pipes don't freeze, Jeff inexplicably would stay there all day long. And of course, then the internet is invented, and so you never see him again. So eventually, Jeff goes off to college, and Johns Hopkins is not known as a huge party school, but he insists all the time that he's really living it up and is a big man on campus, calling me constantly from his parties. He starts his own fraternity. I don't know if there were none or if he couldn't pledge the others. And then I start to believe it a little bit, right? Until I start to see some of the movies he's making. And some of the stars are here. And just you can tell from the plots a little bit of the life he was leading and whether he had in fact changed deeply. And so one Funk Attack, one of his more famous works, the main character was a computer who takes over his dorm room. So you could sort of tell it was the same old Jeff that you had known in Larchmont. So he goes off to New York City, and actually he does start going out a lot more, thanks to a certain website, jdate.com. Definitely gets him out of the house. And we enjoy that for a long stretch, and it is quite amusing and entertaining. But one day, sadly, it comes to an end, and I'm visiting Jeff in New York, and we're walking around, and he tells me that his J-Date days are over. And I say, wow, and I'd love to remember and recall to you his first words about Maddie, were that, he was deeply in love, and it was love at first sight. But I think it was something closer to, dude, I'm dating the hottest girl I've ever met. Which is romantic for Jeff. I know it sounds crude, but I thought it was quite romantic. But indeed, he did stop J-dating, which is a powerful symbol of his love. And even more than that, Jeff, who remains a homebody, now in New York City, but often still on Maple Hill, even follows Maddie to China. And as you know, Jeff will complain endlessly if he has to leave Manhattan, but spends time in China several months living with her, which I think was another powerful sign that things were really different. And when he comes back, he did something that we thought he never would. As you know, he was spending about $9 a month in rent in Manhattan, living in like a 10th floor walk-up with 4 roommates, and his vision of married life was pretty similar, right? That's where they'd live, and he was convinced that that's what Maddie would like, and don't worry about it, Benny, she's gonna be really happy there. But now he lives on Central Park West in a beautifully appointed place. And so he's made other sacrifices that I think have really showed how special she is. But I do think also what makes their relationship so special is that he hasn't had to change in as many ways as we thought he would to actually get married, right? And so the same Jeff, right, who downloads 30 to 40 movies a week, has found a person who'll watch 30 to 40 movies a week sitting on the couch in New York City. And beyond that, right, she's been very accepting of his rather unusual work schedule, his being Bobby Flay's body double, and very supportive of a lot of the web initiatives, which deep down we all know will make him a billionaire one day, but in the meantime can sometimes see him not always so promising. But she's super supportive all along, and I think it's because, they're obviously very rich in love, and they have a very special relationship. So, Jeff, Maddie, congratulations. Yeah.